On this episode, we are going to Totten.
The Couch presents The Journal of Rick, The Three Perils, a book written when I was a kid, featuring Seth Lewis.
I've spoken before about how when I was a kid, I had a very large imagination. I used to tell all sorts of stories, from Super Squirrel to Raccoon Head John to Frog and Butterfly. And I was looking under my bed this week, and I happened to find this, a notebook. And this might actually just look like a regular notebook to all of you, but for me it is the world of Totten, a place of wood skids, Rockfords, and Sinos. And, when I was 10 years old, I used to come up with this entire world. And actually, as an adult, I am surprised by how intricate this world is. It was really well thought out, and I just thought I'd go ahead and share it with you all, just to show you a little glimpse of my childhood. And here's the map. This is the front, and then we'll get into the main book. Chapter 1, Marlowe's Birth. In the lights of Rim 3 stood Armstrong, Mary, and Marlowe. Armstrong had long yellow hair, green dark eyes, and bright white skin. He was tall, about 5.7 or 6.8. He was King of Armstrong's castle and King of Totten. He was the father of Marlowe and husband of Mary. He was very happy, although also quite nervous, for you see he had just had a baby and was wondering what his son would be, and whether he'd be like himself or his wife. Mary had long black hair, blue eyes, and slicky white-pink skin. She was Queen of Totten and Armstrong's castle also. She was the wife of Armstrong and mother of Marlowe. She was mostly happy, but also proud, for she was happy to have such a handsome baby and didn't care much of what was going to happen in the future. Marlowe had short, not grown fully, black hair, and blue eyes. He also had whitish-pink skin. He was Prince of Totten and also Prince of Armstrong's castle. He was son of Armstrong and son of Mary. He was cheerful and happy for no apparent reason. The light of Rim finally died in Bingolf Field, next to Armstrong's castle. "Well, we'd better be going," said Armstrong. "Don't want to miss the party for Marlowe's birth," said Armstrong. This party that Armstrong just said was the celebration for Marlowe's birth. "Why leave?" asked Mary, who thought staying in the field would be a blast. "Don't you want to go to the party?" asked Armstrong. "Oh, we could always have the party another day," said Jessica. Armstrong was now getting a little scared, for it said in ancient legend that this field was filled with black magic, and people would get tired in the field and fall asleep forever. And even if you kissed the person, the spell would not be broken. Some people were released from the spell, others died from it. "The party's on the birth and not on any other day," said Armstrong. "Then you can take Marlowe to the party and I'll stay here." "Well, I would never leave you out here, alone." "Then you come back with Marlowe as soon as you can," said Mary. Mary knew she was winning, so she lay down in the field. It was very soft and cool, and sleep seemed delicious. Why did we ever come into these evil fields?" thought Armstrong, "only to see the last light of Rim. Why?" But he never finished, for Mary screamed. There, only a few feet away from her, was a handsome man, dead. "You're right, Armstrong, let's leave." Black, ugly clouds filled the sky. A drop of rain hit Marlowe on his bald head. Jessica opened her umbrella. She put it overhead, and Armstrong, herself, and Marlowe. They slowly walked through the fields and into the castle and into one of the many stone towers. The rain was pouring down faster than ever, and harder than ever. They felt like trees being cut down. There would probably have been a flood, but for strange and probably magical reasons, there was none. The wind started to howl and blow faster and harder. So fast and hard that a giant oak busted out of the ground, flying around and around till finally it blasted down onto the ground. Lightning and thunder struck loud and close. The thunder was so loud that I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't seem like 1,000 elephants running over thistles. The lightning made it look like day. Only 2 flashes hit into each other and turned into one. And when it hit the ground, it exploded. And that lasted about 5 minutes. The rain, lightning, thunder, and wind seemed to be in a great battle. Finally, the storm died. and the last drop of rain fell, and the last roar of thunder came, and then the last flash of lightning. The wind stopped. Bingolf's field was also next to the ancient woods of Mystery Woods. Out of the woods came an evil creature. He wore a black hood and cloak. In fact, all his clothes were black, even his boots. You could see no face in the hood, though there probably was one. Around his neck was a string, which was holding a drum, and in both of his hands were drumsticks. Slowly he patted the drum a couple of times. It sounded angry and made, yet calm and sad. It is very hard to describe. Suddenly, up in the sky and falling down fastly was a large ball with fire on it. It was going to hit the fields. It had almost hit the fields now, and when it hit, it exploded and turned to 2 lines of fire. Then the black creature raised its arms. The 2 lines then connected and hit the woods. The woods caught on fire. The black creature then turned around and slowly went into the fiery woods. The people could smell the smoke. When they saw the fire, they began to shout. They screamed and ran to get some water. They knew the castle would not catch on fire, but the woodsman house might. See map. But no one died. But the fields were burned to ashes. The fire did die, but its memories were horrible. 9 years went by. The field regrew, but lost all its ancient evil powers. The woods had not been burned very badly, and the part that was ruined regrowed. Many people had, in fact, forgotten about the fire. Armstrong was definitely not one of them people. He was very mysterious about the fire, for it was oranger than it was supposed to, and much less hot than it was supposed to. He walked down the sidewalk humming a battle song. His mind always seemed to creep the memory back to him. It was then that he made his decision. He walked into his tower. His living room was nice, but then he walked into his study. It was a complete mess. Papers and books were everywhere. Armstrong went in. He took out a sword and a knife and put them on his belt. Then he got out his quiver and put 20 arrows in it, and put it over his shoulder. He then put his bow over his shoulder, then got a spear and put it in the quiver, and then got an axe and put it on his belt, then grabbed his shield, then grabbed a packet of matches, and the diary of Rim's book, and some pillows and a blanket and a backpack and a paper. "What are you doing?" asked Mary, who had appeared in the doorway. "Just taking care of business. Business that should have been taken care of a long time ago," said Armstrong. "The fire?" said Mary. "The fire," said Armstrong. "Please, would you forget about it?" said Mary. "It's not enchanted fire," said Mary, although it did look weird. "Well, why can it not be enchanted?" asked Armstrong. "Because magic is not real," yelled Mary. "Yes, it is," yelled Armstrong. "It's as real as you and me." "Prove it," said Mary. Armstrong lit a match and put it in the fireplace. A small fire started. Armstrong put the shield in the fire. The fire died down. All that was left was black ashes. Armstrong grabbed the black ashes, all of them, and threw them in the air. And in his hands was a shield. It was not hot and not scratched. "That was a good magic trick," said Mary. "It was not a magic trick. It was real magic," said Armstrong. "No, it was not," said Mary. "Why do you take me as a liar?" asked Armstrong. "Do you hate me?" Of course I don't think you're a liar, nor do I hate you. Also, I love you," said Mary. "Then act like you do," yelled Armstrong. A redness came on Mary's face. "I'm sorry," said Armstrong, and he left the tower. As he walked down the hot cobblestone sidewalk, he whistled an old battle song. "Sticks and stones may break my bones." It's a long story. He stopped at a butcher's shop to buy some food. "What may I offer you, sir?" said a man with a deep voice. 5 pieces of bacon. And a chicken, please," said Armstrong. "Sorry, sir, our bacon has run out. Also, though, you could buy some, but it may take 2 days to ship it," said the butcher. I'll just have the chicken," said Armstrong. Chicken is the greatest food in Taunton. In fact, it won the Best Food Award every time. Armstrong was soon given a chicken, and he paid the butcher 5 gold coins. He ate some and put the rest in his backpack. Then he went to another tower and knocked at the door. A small boy with red hair answered. "Oh, hi, Mr. Venture. Come to pick up your son?" he asked. "No, Rob, just telling him I'm going, and I'll be gone for a while, and to walk home tonight," said Mr. Venture. Armstrong. "See ya, Dad," said Marlowe, who had been eavesdropping. See ya, Mr. Venture," said Moonster, a small boy with black hair, who eavesdropped also, and slowly Armstrong walked away. He walked a while till he saw a sign with Thomas's Stables, and slowly walked towards the old stables, and there, leaning on the door, was an old man smoking a pipe. He had long white hair, blue light eyes. He was about as tall as Armstrong. He had once been king of Taunton until the people thought he was cracked, which is honestly not true, but they were the ones who were cracked. He was just regular feeling. "Hey, Dad," said Armstrong. "Why, Armstrong, I haven't seen you since yesterday," said his dad. "I may need Jessica for a while," said Armstrong. "Well, where are you headed?" asked his dad. "Oh, nowhere much," said John, said Armstrong. "Well, can you keep a secret?" asked Armstrong. "For 3 minutes," said John. "Well, who's telling you then?" said Armstrong. "Well, secrets are supposed to be told. That's what makes rumors," said John. "Well, just let me have Jessica." John opened the door and led him to her stables, number 7. Armstrong got onto her and said goodbye, John. "Goodbye, Armstrong. Parting is reached horribleness," said John. "I think you said it wrong," said Armstrong. "Nay, but what if I said it right, and you just think I'm wrong?" asked John. "Goodbye, John," said Armstrong, and slowly, and almost sadly, galloped away. Across the fields of Bingolf he went. It was like a sea of gold, long great power that had forgotten been lost in the fire. The spells would never live again. Through its beauty still shined like the morning sun. Soon Armstrong entered the forest of mysterious woods. No evil men lurking around, nor crones, thought Armstrong. Suddenly Armstrong saw a stream, and next to it was a small waterfall. Armstrong was glad to see it. He was very happy, and he was very hot. He bathed merrily in it. The horse drank from it. Then, when he got dressed and cupped the water in his hands and poured the water on his head was wet, and he had to do with a blanket for a towel. He then drank some of the water himself in a cup. It was then he heard a noise. He looked up and saw a very evil creature, a crone. His eyes widened, and he started to run away. He quickly tied Jessica to a tree and ran after the crone. "I'll be doomed unless I get that crone. He'll tell his leader then," said Armstrong. He found some footprints in the mud and followed them. For a while all he saw was trees, some birds, and footprints. But then he stopped. There in front of him was a shaggy cave. He slowly walked in. It was pretty dark. Suddenly the world trembled. It seemed an earthquake, although earthquakes weren't very common in Taunton. Armstrong was bouncing against the walls like a ball bounces around in a ping-pong game, only far worse. Finally, everything went black. At first he thought he was dead, but from what he heard about it, this wasn't what it should be like. It was dark, and he felt into his pockets and took out a match and lit it. It's amazing what a small match can do in a big tunnel, he thought. His legs had no wound. On his stomach was a large scar, and on his forehead was a small one. It hurt painfully. No man's medicine could heal it, or it might, but it'd take a long time. He felt his legs were like air. Finally he got up and slowly walked down the long, dark, black tunnel. It soon was giving air and getting hotter. Soon he saw the crone, the same exact one. "Now I shall tell my leader, Blue son of Marlowe." Suddenly, a huge cave coal jumped out of nowhere and grabbed the crone and put it over his head, then dropped it into his dark, black, ugly mouth. He was indeed a very ugly creature of extraordinary powers. Armstrong almost felt sorry for the crone. And I'm going to go ahead and show you all a picture that I drew. And I think that's a good enough place as any to take a break. I'll tell you all what happens. What do you all think is going to happen in the next episode? Will the troll kill Armstrong? What was that fire going on? Who is that man in the black hood? You'll have to wait to find out. There will definitely be a part 2 to this series, and maybe we'll even go further. Maybe this will be a little series until the final episode comes. So you'll just have to wait until then.